Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this amendment would apply the Hyde Protections to this entire title and the tax credit, which would make sure that the insurance subsidized by the federal taxpayer will not cover elective abortion. As I speak to it, perhaps abortion is the most divisive issue in America today. It's certainly one that drives a lot of passion in politics. Should the government be involved? What about the church? What's my personal conviction? What's my political position? People have very strongly held beliefs and stories. The question comes before the committee today as to whether taxpayer money should be used to fund abortions. Now, we know that the vast majority of Americans believe taxpayer dollars should not be used to fund abortions or subsidize insurance plans that cover abortions. As a pro-life woman, I wanted to share with you my story. I've never had an abortion, but I have given thought, especially in my younger years, as to what I would do if I found myself pregnant and alone. It would have been a desperate situation, and I can imagine abortion seeming like an easy solution. It breaks my heart to think anyone would consider abortion as their only option or their best option. Now, growing up, I was not much of a baby person. I was 35 and single when I was elected to Congress, and I didn't know if becoming a mom would even happen for me. Today, I can testify that bringing a new life into the world is the most amazing thing. Being a mom to 3 beautiful children is the best part of life. Our oldest, Cole, now 14, was born with an extra 21st chromosome. It's the most common chromosomal abnormality, Down syndrome. In this debate over abortion, Down syndrome has been at the forefront. Many of my colleagues have heard our friend Frank Stevens tell the world, "I'm a man with Down syndrome, and my life is worth living." When Cole was first born, I wanted to change the name of Down syndrome, wondering who came up with that name. And then I read Dr. John Landon Down's biography. He was an extraordinary individual in the mid-1850s who first identified the common characteristics that we know today as Down syndrome. So maybe we should call it Dr. John Down syndrome. He went on to build a home and provide support for people who were often cast aside from society. And then there's also the story of Dr. Jerome Lejeune. He was pro-life and first discovered the genetic cause of Down syndrome in 1958, an extra 21st chromosome. It was only a few years earlier that they had identified that people have 23 pairs of chromosomes. Near the same time, Western countries were beginning to draft pro-abortion laws. Dr. Lejeune has said himself that because he's pro-life, he was passed up for a Nobel Prize, even though his research was the first to unlock the mysteries of the 46 chromosomes, and he helped advance new cures and discoveries. Today, the result of his research has been used to identify many chromosome abnormalities, and unfortunately, is used many times to identify that early and terminate a pregnancy. Nearly a decade before Dr. Lejeune's discovery, a neurologist shared the Nobel Prize for the discovery of lobotomy. The procedure was controversial from its initial use and is now rejected as an inhumane form of treatment for mental disorders. We learned from science, research, and technology. My hope is that we learn again and reject abortion because it's inhumane. As Pope Francis calls it, we've adopted a throwaway culture for the weak, disabled, and disposable. It's not science. It's not the latest research. And because of technology today, you can see the baby develop day by day in the womb, and doctors perform prenatal surgeries. For those of us who stand for life, we must do a better job of loving. I can only imagine the fear and despair of an unwanted pregnancy. My challenge before us all is to be warriors of human dignity and win the future. Let's focus on the very foundation of our laws. They must uphold the value and the potential of every person's life. And I urge my colleagues to join me and save the Hyde Amendment. With that,